Good evening, everyone. Princess Peanut Buttercup absolutely insisted on welcoming Mr. Chip Coffey to the broadcast tonight. And so I have to introduce her. She's just insistent that I introduce her to him. And I'm not going to, there's really no need to give the man a freaking, introduction, because everybody that's in this field or even beyond it knows exactly who he is and the gifts that he brings to the world. It is my privilege and my pleasure to keep him among my nearest and dearest friends. And I'm grateful that, in spite of the fact that he's just done what I'm sure was a very long and arduous reading for someone, has agreed to come on the show in spite of that. So if he doesn't hang for the full 2 hours, nobody's going to worry about that, because he deserves a break. But I think that our conversation will be so inspiring and enlightening and joyful that he'll hang around for a while. So without further ado, please welcome Chip Coffey. Hi, darling.
Hello. What are you doing?
Good. Peanut butter.
I was hanging back, lurking backstage,
I know.
and I saw that little nugget. What a cutie pie.
Oh, she is the most beautiful dog on the whole planet Earth, right?
Right down here. Okay.
I know.
It's Abigail.
Yeah.
Abigail's my girl. I think I've told you the story about how she just appeared at my door.
Yes, on Halloween. Yep.
On Halloween. And lately I've been telling her, little did I know at that time that an angel showed up at my door in a dog costume.
I know. Isn't it something?
At a time when I wasn't even thinking about a dog.
I know.
I just lost some dogs.
You had just lost dogs.
Yeah. And I had one left, and I had said, I'm not going to have another dog. And God said, hold my beer, or hold my communion wine, I guess, maybe.
Yes.
And she showed up at my door, and I don't know what my life would be like without her. And I know you feel the same way about your little nugget.
I do. I mean, she just, who would have ever thought me? I mean, my last dog was 130 pounds. Okay. Wow. A Great Pyrenees. I mean, just huge. And I've always been a big dog person. I want a dog as close to as big as a human as I can get.
Okay.
So I've got something to wrap my arms around and snuggle. And yet it works out just fine. This is the baby. This is the one. Who would have ever thought I'd fall for a Chihuahua? I said, and after Gracie passed away, I was like, that's it. No more. I can't go through this again. I cannot go through this again. I just can't.
Nope.
And then a month later, I lost my sister. And then I found out what real pain was like. And, but still, I went all those years without having, 3 years without a dog in my life, in my world. And the universe said, okay, enough's enough. And here she was. And I saved her life. And April had a hand in it.
In my entire life, I've never been without a dog. Never, ever. And I'm 68 years old almost. And never at any point in my life has there not been a dog as part of my family.
Yeah. Because,
what's new with you, Perrin? Come on, dish the dirt.
What?
What's new?
Oh, see, because, I'm the interviewer.
Since when? Since when? I want to know about you. Everybody wants to know about you. What's new with you?
Well, I'm just, I'm recovering from COVID. And I really thought that I had dodged the bullet. These last couple of years, I managed to avoid it. And then I got it probably either in the airport or on the plane coming back from Rhode Island a couple of weeks ago. And then I promptly went to Georgia to go pick up the peanut butter cup and gave it to my mother, my sister, and my father. And so it has been
like the gift that keeps on giving.
I guess it was shocking and upsetting.
I went to my first event
Yep.
since my first big interactive event. I'd done an appearance in Wisconsin where I was on stage, way separated from people. But I went to my first interactive event with a meet and greet and all these things, hanging out with other speakers and everything. And I came home on Greta and I, my assistant, my travel assistant, you know Greta very well.
Yeah.
She and I were supposed to come home on Sunday, and our flight was canceled in that great cancellation of this past Sunday. And we came home on Monday, and I think Tuesday or Wednesday, one of the other speakers tested positive for COVID. And so I had an exposure, and I've since found out that a couple of other people tested positive for COVID that were there. And, you know, it's going around, and I, like you, have dodged the bullet for 2.5 years. I'm quadruple vaxxed. But, you know, it's still out there. You know, I don't want to preach, but it's still out there. So I've been very cautious. I'm 68 years old almost. I have diabetes and a respiratory condition. So I'm in that category where I've got to be extremely careful. Right. And so, you know, I've been home testing every day, and so far negative. Good. And I went today to a drive-through just to be sure, and I'll get the results back. But as the days and the minutes and the hours tick by, I'm thinking I might have again dodged a bullet. But it's scary to go out and think about being out in the world again, for me particularly, and for other people, because I don't know where you are, if what's happening where you are, where you're
it's terrible down here.
It's
we're at almost 30% positivity. 5 is considered under control.
People are not wearing masks anymore.
No, at all.
At all.
No,
I mean, and they stopped them on airplanes. You're in this little metal cylinder in the air, breathing the same air for 3 hours. And they can say all they want to that we've improved our air circulation. You know what I say to that? Bull.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened. So, you know, you roll the dice. You roll the dice. And I'm sure that most of you and probably everybody watching this, I now know more people who have had COVID than those who haven't not had COVID.
Yep. I can say that's true too. And it will run its course. My greatest concern, well, I took Dad to the VA hospital a couple of days ago because he was really struggling, and they ran a whole battery of tests on him and checked him for everything. And he got his report back today, and, you know, it came back excellent. He's 86 years old. You know, he's in really good shape, but yes, he had COVID and, he's on the back end of it. And, you know, he kicked it. He really did. He's got an incredible immune system.
Did they give him the drugs that are supposed to lessen?
No, it was too late. It was just he'd had it too long to even.
First thing I did, I'll tell you, I must be psychic or something, because before I went on this trip, I said, I fully anticipate coming back with COVID. Fully anticipated. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I hope that I'm dead wrong on that. Use the word dead is a bad word.
Yeah, probably better word choice.
I think that I'm really wrong about that. But, you know, when I got home, even before I'd heard that there would been a COVID person tested positive for COVID after the event, I'd call my diabetic doctor, who is a good friend of mine. Thank goodness I have a good friend in my diabetic doctor. And I called him and I said, you know, that drug that is out there for lessening COVID stuff, Paxlovid, you are on standby. I'm tiptoeing back out into the world, which he gave me permission to do, masked as often as possible. Yeah. But I said, I just want you on standby to call in a prescription for Paxlovid so I can start taking it. There's another drug also that's out there that starts with an M that I don't remember. But you know, if anybody gets it within the first 5 days, hop on that drug. Yeah. Because supposedly it's a game changer with how severe your symptom or your manifestation of COVID will be. Let's not talk about COVID anymore. I don't want to talk about COVID.
I know. I mean, my mother has gotten through this. That's all I care about. You know, the rest of it, I'll heal. I'll be fine. I'm going to Scotland in about a week, and I've never been across the pond before. I'm going with Maria Schmidt and her mysterious adventure tour with Rick McCollum as my cohort and escort. So It will be lovely and wonderful, and I'm looking forward to it. And my mom has ancestors from Clan Buchanan. So she asked me when I go over there, what's in that glass? Is it better than what's in this one?
My blood sugar was running a little low, so I'm drinking a Coca-Cola.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. That's good. I got coffee.
I had to pump up my blood sugar to keep up with you, Perrin.
Well,
you got to pedal fast to keep up with Andrea Perrin, folks, because she's force of nature. Just, keep up or fall behind.
Well, it kind of is like that. I mean, I'm busy even when I'm sleeping. It's always going 100 miles an hour. So, there's that. So. Yeah, I know. But you know what? You're the same way. I don't even know how you shut down what you do. How do you shut that down, Chip?
I just have asked my spirit partners not to make me be Whoopi Goldberg. I don't want to be having people come to me 24/7. So they stand guard and don't let unbidden information come through to me. It would be a horrible thing to constantly have people be talking in your head, and I don't want that. So
no,
I've learned pretty much to flip the switch on and off.
That's amazing, and it's remarkable. And I know you've been at this for decades, so that didn't happen overnight. You were probably bombarded prior to realizing that you had a service to perform to the world.
Actually, I wasn't.
Really?
Because I've always been psychic. I don't know if I ever told you this story, but I believe everybody is somewhat psychic.
So do I.
I believe that psychic is just, let's pull it out of the whole woo-woo definition.
Yes, exactly.
Psychic to me is the ability or the skill set to access information or energy that you cannot get using your 5 human senses. So everybody has some level of psychic ability. It's a sliding scale, but people have different levels of psychic ability. Did I ever tell you this story about my birth?
No. Well, maybe you have, but I want everybody else to hear it. So,
so here's the story of my birth. My mother had it. Well, let's back up from that. My mom and dad had a child early on in their marriage that unfortunately died when he was only 21 hours old. He was my older brother. And they were told that because of her difficult delivery, my mother was a teen when she gave birth. And because of that difficult delivery, they said to her, it is unlikely that you will ever have another child. And she kind of accepted that. My dad went into the Navy for the Second World War, and they didn't even think about having another child. So fast forward 12 years later, almost 12 years later, and my mother goes to the doctor. She goes, I'm having horrible gas pains and my gut's rumbling. It's not nice. What's wrong with me? Doctor ran some tests and said, Carolyn, you're pregnant. And my mother says in her inimitable style, you're FOS. And we know what that means. Full of.
Yeah.
And I can't have any kids. And he said, well, you give it a few months and you'll see. Well, fast forward 10 and a half months, and I still hadn't been born. Well, they found out what had happened was I was trapped inside my mother. There had been scar tissue that formed over the mouth of my mother's womb, and Chip was in the Carolyn condo and couldn't get out.
Oh, wow.
So they rushed her into surgery to perform a C-section. And as they were putting her under, my mother told this story to me a number of times while she was living. She remembers hearing the nurse say, her blood pressure is plummeting. We're losing her. And she said she called them angels, appeared, everything else vanished in the room around her. And she was going under anesthesia. And 2 angels appeared on either side of the table and started to lift her soul out of her body. And she looked at them and said, please, please don't take me. I don't want to leave my baby. And they looked at each other, smiled down at my mother, and started to drop her soul back into her body.
Wow.
And as she crashed into her body, back into her body, I was born. No cutting popped out of my mom's you-know-what. So they didn't have to cut. However, that scar tissue had vanished or disappeared or something had happened to it. And I was vaginally born to my mother. So, I was born during a near-death experience of my mother. And so it progressed forward. And I lived, I came to know things about people and places and things. And lived in a haunted house or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And I didn't start having two-way dialogues with the dead until I was 47 years old. And I thought I'd lost my effing mind. But even then, I think from the very beginning when it started, I quickly realized I didn't want to be that guy that was constantly hearing from people in my head. That unbidden information could keep coming to me. So that's when I told my spirit partners, block it out. Guard dog me, sentinel me, guard me. I don't want to have all that information coming to me all the time. So for me, it's become kind of a focus thing. When I know I'm going to be working, I kind of clock in, so to speak. And when I'm not working, I kind of am like, okay, I'm just leading my life now, not tapping into anything.
That's, you never did tell me that story, which I'm shocked for as much as we've talked that I didn't know that. But now you get to see my actual response to it, which is amazing.
It's been an incredible story.
It really is. John Tenney told me the story of just prior to his birth, his mother being in a car, his father going into a grocery store, standing in front of plate glass windows, holding up things that she would, maybe want, that she was craving. And something told her to get out of the car. And she was big pregnant with John. And she just didn't want to get out of the car. And she heard a voice that said, get out of the car. And she did. And somebody that was completely out of control came flying through that parking lot and hit her family's car, their car so hard that it went right through the plate glass windows of the grocery store.
Oh my God.
It would have been the end of both of them. And even her husband, because he was standing in there. He had just walked away with a bag of chips to go buy for her. He was standing right there in front of the plate glass door. I mean, so they kind of had like a near-death experience in triplicate that they were spared from by who knows who that was that spoke to that woman and told her to save herself and her baby.
Some angel was sitting on her shoulder.
That's right. And I think that it's...
You know what I hope? I hope she got that damn bag of chips.
I hope so, too. And I hope she enjoyed every crunch because, Lay's potato chips, you can't eat just one. No. So, here's the thing. What I find is that as I maneuver around in this field of an eclectic mix of people is the nicest way to put it. But
that was generous. That was very generous.
I know. I find it fascinating that so many of us have had truly extraordinary experiences that have shaped us, that have altered us, that have transformed us into what I wouldn't describe it as, higher beings. I know that there are higher beings and, we're mere mortals, but more enlightened souls, I guess. We just seem to be able to tap into things that other people don't and hear things that other people don't necessarily hear and see things others don't. And it's a gift.
I honestly think you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You wax poetic about it. I'm a little more, how do I want to say it? I'm a little more jaded about it. I would just say that we are neurotic weirdos. That's pretty much what we are. And I'm so fortunate to have my card as membership into that gang and to be around all of you who are kindred spirits. Haha, I just plugged my own show. Did you see that? That was good, wasn't it?
That was smooth.
That was smooth.
As smooth as
my hood. Smooth move.
Yeah, it was. Better than Barbara Streisand on her third album. Telling you.
Do you know, here's a little bit of something. I grew up for part of my life in a little town called Elmira, New York.
I know that.
And Barbara Streisand's father or stepfather worked at the prison in Elmira.
Wow.
I didn't know that. You know who else is from Elmira?
Who?
I'm just going to give you all the chipped coffee skinny tonight. Also from Elmira, New York, Mark Twain married a woman there and did a lot of his work there.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Hilfiger,
Oh, really?
the designer.
Yep.
One of the female astronauts, Brian Williams, spent part of his life in Elmira, the NBC newscaster.
Yep.
I'm ashamed of this one, but Janine Pirro,
Oh,
Judge
what
Janine.
is wrong with that woman? Oh my God.
Don't
All
even
right.
get me started.
No, I know. Oh my God.
Janine Pirro, and it was a big. Remember Harriet Beecher Stowe, who wrote Battle Hymn of the Republic?
Yes.
Her brother, Thomas K. Beecher, was a huge abolitionist minister at Park Church in Elmira. And Park Church was very big in the abolitionist movement and the Underground Railroad. And Harriet Beecher Stowe, who wrote that, was his sister. And I actually, for 2 years of my life, went to Thomas K. Beecher Elementary School in Elmira.
Oh,
So
awesome.
Elmira's a really cool little town. I went to college there, was born there, went kind of back and forth between South Carolina, which is where my parents were born, and to Elmira when I was a kid. And would you believe that this coming March, I've lived in Atlanta for 40 years.
Wow.
40 years. And I never would have thought I would have put down those kind of roots.
I know. And you remember that city when it wasn't such a big city. It really wasn't. When we first moved down from Rhode Island to the Atlanta area in 1980, right after we sold the farm, that's where we went to Cherokee County, the northwest corner of Cherokee County, Salicoa Valley, the little town of Waleska. We'd go into Atlanta, into the big city, and it didn't seem like it was even as big as Boston. And now,
at that point in time, it might not have been.
And it might not have been. No, it was really easy to navigate. I remember that. It was very easy to navigate. And the 75-85 connector, I think it was maybe 6 lanes across.
85
and both directions. For both directions.
85 and 75. When I first moved here, I was talking with Greta about this just today or yesterday. 85 and 75 were both 2 lanes, one going north and one coming south.
And one coming south.
And now at some points it's 7 and 8 lanes.
Yes.
On 85 and 75. It's crazy. And I live in the northeastern suburbs of Atlanta, and I don't really go into town that much. It's it's like people who live in the suburbs of New York City, or Chicago. It has to be something pretty irregular or special to drag you into the city. But a
great show at the Fox would do it for me.
I just went to see. I masked up and went with some friends here locally and went to see a show that my goddaughter's dad, Ella's dad, was doing at the Alliance, which is our primary. Which is our primary professional theater in Atlanta.
It is.
About 2 weeks ago. And we went to see Ray in a show at the Alliance, and it was kind of cool to be out and about. But, you just don't. If you live in the burbs, and don't work in the city, you don't really go down there that much.
Yeah.
Or up there that much or whatever.
Yeah, there's really no need. It's really kind of got its own vibe and its own thing. And I really avoided it like the plague because I'm just not a city dweller. I would much rather be out hugging a tree somewhere, walking my dog near the lake, just out of reach of the alligators.
You would rather be out calling in
my owls.
No. Calling in your people from the other planets. That's why. Oh, hey, Andrew Barron. Yeah.
You mocketh me.
No, I don't. You scare the shit out of me. People of your ilk scare the rat's ass out of me. I can say that, right?
Yes, you can say anything you want on the show, please.
That's scary to give me that.
No, you've got that kind of latitude. You do, because I do it. So.
Now you got me coughing. I'm empathing. What am I?
And don't make me laugh, because if I laugh, then I cough.
But Andrea, anything to do. Andrea and I share ghosts. We've seen things that we think might be demonic and all that stuff. But my friends who are into the whole UFO thing and ET and all that stuff,
Yeah.
No, flat, no. Don't want any part of it. So ETs and Greys and whatever, Grey's Anatomies and whatever else the hell they're called, I want no part of them. None. You know my story about what happened. Somebody that had an abduction or a contactee or an abduction experience was talking to Greta and me, and they said, oh, sometimes when people meet me, they have their own contact or abduction experience. And I'm like, you, no. Don't want any part of this. Get away from me. So fast forward, Greta and I are sharing a hotel room. We each have our beds. And when I sleep, I'm all over the place. I'm pillows and blankets. I'm under the cover and out of the cover.
Me too.
So she wakes up in the middle of the night and looks over at my bed. And I've been in bed, asleep. My bed is perfectly made. Perfectly made.
Mm-hmm.
And she waits. She's thinking, that is so bizarre. She listens and waits. Nothing. And then Greta goes, oh shit, they took him. And she goes, what do I do? Do I call the front desk and tell them that he's gone? Do I call the police? They're gonna think I did it. They're gonna think I'm the suspect. I'm in the room with him. Where the hell is he? And I don't know what to do. And then her mindset shifted and she went, wait a minute. Why didn't they take me too? So now she's jealous that I've been abducted. And Greta's now jealous that I've been abducted and she
has not, but she's been left behind like, yesterday's laundry.
And then a couple minutes pass and she hears the toilet flush.
Mm-hmm.
And I come out of the bathroom. She doesn't say anything to me until the next day, but I suspect at my age, what happened to me was, even if I just had to pee, mm-hmm. I went into the bathroom, and at night when I've got to go to pee, first to confess, too much information, telling you what it is, okay. I will sit down on the toilet because I'm not going to pee on my toilet and my feet. Not going to do that. So I plunk myself down on the toilet, and I am pretty certain I probably fell asleep.
Mm-hmm.
I was snoozing away, sitting there like, but explain how my bed was perfectly made. Did they take me and then when they brought me back, drop me off on the toilet? I don't know. I don't want to know. If you have any insight into that, keep it to yourself, Perrin. I don't want to know. I don't want to know if any of your intergalactic friends had any, because I don't want to be poked. No eyeballs being poked with needles, nothing up the yin yang to be prodded and poked. I ain't into that crap. None of that. No. So let's not talk. We're not going to talk about COVID. We're not going to talk much about politics. We're not going to talk about aliens. We've gotten that out of our system. I'm done.
Okay. All I will say, and I'll close it out on this. The first time I met you, you had your round metal glasses, your Harry Potter glasses on. I looked through those glasses. I looked into your eyes. I put my hands on your face. You put your hands on my face. I recognized you instantly, not because I had seen 100 pictures of you or 1,000 or your shows or anything else. You were on my bucket list to meet, but that's not what it was. I recognized you as one of my own.
But none of those intergalactic people.
That is one of my own. My darling, you ascend from the Pleiadians. Okay, you can go ahead. You can. All right, that's it. I'm not going to say another word about it, but I'm telling you, I looked in those eyes. I recognized. I knew instantly. I knew why you were so gifted. I knew what mysteries came with you.
Check, please.
And so on that, that's all that I will say. other than there is absolutely nothing to fear, nothing to fear, nothing.
All right.
All right.
Can we move on? You told me that I could do anything I wanted to on this, so I'm actually
anything.
You're the host, but I'm kind of turning the tables on you too a little bit.
That's fine. Whatever you want.
Let's talk about let's just talk about a few people maybe that we commonly know. Okay? Let's talk about Zaffis.
Oh my God. I was just on the phone with him a couple of days ago.
I talked to him yesterday. John Zaffis. You know what's really interesting was one of the other cases, other than your amazing Conjuring case and the farmhouse case. I will tell you that I met John when I was watching. I didn't meet him. He first came on my radar when I was back in the early 2000s when I was watching that wonderful Discovery Channel documentary of haunting in Connecticut. Yeah. And then I looked him up and found him and called him up and asked him if I could interview him for a magazine I was writing for at the time. And John and I became fast friends. John's a good soul. I mean, he's probably one of the most knowledgeable people I know in the paranormal arena. Yep. And I just wanted to give him a shout out tonight because I know that we both have a lot of affection for him and that he's a really good soul. And I'm looking forward to seeing him a couple of times over the summer. I know that he's somebody that you value in your life and treasure. And you know what? That sort of leads me to say there are a number of people that we're very fortunate to be among in this paranormal community. Yes. We are. And that we very much treasure, we've got to say that we very much treasure our followers and our fans, that we really, those people who support us and continue to be interested in the crazy things that we've done and will do. I know you as do I appreciate those people very much. Very much. And as I get older, I appreciate them more. And you're like me, if you love someone, you love them with your whole heart. Yes. And if you don't love someone, they're gone. Yep. They're nothing gone for them. Yep. Nope. Because we're not here for everyone. We're not. And it's incumbent upon us to empower each other by loving each other powerfully. And some people won't let you love them. No, some people won't. Some people are only lovable from a very safe distance. Sometimes the other side of the universe. It's just how it is. We're all in different places. We're all in different mindsets. Right. Pause for a minute. Sure. Did anybody else besides me see that weird shadow that just went to the left of Andrea on the back wall? Oh, I don't know. That was fucked up. I'm never really alone, though. There was this weird shadow that kind of went from just kind of around your head over to the left near the bookcase. Very cool. All right. So, just wanted to make everybody aware of the fact that I saw a shadow across the wall up between your head and the ceiling. All right. Very nice. I'm so glad. They're here. Yeah. Oh, they're always here. They're always here. Or April's here. I mean, she stops by with such regularity that it really is. But she watches over my mother a lot. My mom is very frail and having to battle this illness that, I brought to her. To say that I'm mortified that this happened is the understatement of the new millennia. But still she's getting through it. And the reason I mention it again, even though COVID was off limits, is because I can't tell you how many thousands of people I put one post or I said one thing about catching COVID and the word spread like wildfire across the western parched plains. I mean, it was amazing. It's like everybody in the whole paranormal field knows that I got sick and that I spread it to my family. And the prayers, the outpouring of love and affection, devotion, the prayers for my mother. It would be almost sacrilegious if she didn't heal quickly. I'm really, you and I both know the incredible power of prayer. I do. My phone has been exploding with well wishes from friends, close friends that would actually have my phone number. And, then, every place else, literally every place else. Go lay on your bed, honey. Everybody has your phone number because I write it on bathroom walls.
Oh, I thought that was Schrader doing that.
Everybody who loves you is trying to pimp you out.
Oh, excellent. Oh,
And
that's how I grow my following.
How weird it is. How weird is it that, and synchronistic that we both have mothers named Carolyn.
And that too. I was going to mention that too. Yes.
We both have moms named Carolyn.
Carolyn. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, my father wanted me to give you his very warmest wishes and looks forward to seeing
Roger's
you.
a good man. He's funny as shit. I'm just going to put the word out there. Roger is funny. And he's like me. He's an old curmudgeon who just has no fucks left to give.
He has no fucks left to give. He does not. Nope, he does not. But, when he cares about someone, he lets them know it. And before I came in here tonight, he said, don't you forget to tell him.
You don't want to hear this about your dad at 86 years old, is he?
Yeah.
Your dad's still a horn dog.
Oh, yeah, I know. He's French, honey. He was born that way. He can't even help it. I have no control over it.
Your dad's still a horn dog.
I know, he is.
Because
women throw themselves all over him and he allows it. And I'm like, Dad, stop. Stop.
Yeah, I mean, he's just, you can see him when he's around attractive women. He's sitting there like, and it's not like he's an old ledge, but
no,
a guy can tell another guy, and he's like, he's like enjoying the scenery.
He has a great appreciation for the beauty of the goddesses among us. Yes, he does. He thinks of women as moving artwork. Animated artwork. He does.
You're getting poetic again. He's a horn dog.
I know he's a horn dog.
He's a horn dog. Let's just cut to the chase.
Okay.
Just like my dad was, like I was when I was younger.
It's a testosterone thing, I guess. I don't know.
My tank must be empty.
Well,
am I just revealing too much information in this?
No, I couldn't possibly love this more than I do. This was what I was hoping for. You know me. I'm like, fuck the pretense. Let's just get right to it and just be with each other on the show, talking the way that we would if we were out having a cigarette under the awning.
Andrea, you know what I like about you more than anything?
What?
I like more about you than that there isn't any pretense.
No.
I mean, what you see is what you get. And, people go, God, I didn't know you were so funny. Or, when I'm on television, a lot of the time I'm in work mode.
Yeah.
And I take my word very seriously, but I don't take myself really seriously.
Mm-hmm.
My work, yes. My reputation for my work, yes.
Yes.
But myself, I'm very self-deprecating. I'm very honest. I'm very
so
open.
am I. Very humble. Yep. We're the same. We are.
I'm grateful every single solitary day of my life for the life that I have.
Yeah.
And many times every day, and not to get religious or preachy, I'm always saying, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord, for everything, for every breath, for everything I lead, for everything I have, rather. That's the way I lead my life. And I do believe in unconditional love, but I don't believe in unconditional like.
Yeah.
If someone does me wrong or treats me badly, I'm not going to put up with it.
No.
And I found out as I've gotten older, as I've suffered a lot of losses, as have you in life, if I can suffer the loss of someone in my life to death, or even my animals, my family and my friends, if you do me dirty, I can drop you like a hot rock.
Like, I know. I've done it. And, and I hate to say it, but in the last 5 years, the upheaval in the political environment and just the nastiness of all of it has caused me to break away from relationships that I thought were going to just, be there ad infinitum.
Well, I don't need somebody.
I've had to back away. I've had to.
I don't need somebody who's going to be a clone of me from my thoughts and beliefs and whatever.
Nor do I. But being rational and in the same universe, that counts.
If they are so diverse that we can't. I've had to tell a number of people. I have a good friend of mine, and I love her dearly. She and I have been friends since first grade. You do the math. That's 1961.
Yeah.
So you do the math. That's a long time.
Yeah.
She's on the opposite end of the political spectrum of me. And we were digging at each other on Facebook about it. She'd jibe at me and I'd come back at her. So I finally picked up the phone and called her and I said, look, we can't do this. Eventually, it's going to result in the ending of our friendship. So we have to make politics a subject that we do not discuss. Right. And I've had to do that with a number of people in my life who don't feel the same about certain things that I do. But if it's somebody that I don't know real well and somebody that I don't give a shit if they're in my life or not, I will tell you this. Talk about family. Most of my family, my father and my mother were both from South Carolina, in the upper part of South Carolina. And a lot of my family has kind of stayed in that area. And it's a very evangelical, conservative area.
Oh, I know what it is. Yep.
And I have some cousins who still live in that area. My cousins are my nearest relatives anymore. My parents are dead, my grandparents, my aunts, my uncles. So my cousins are my only living DNA relatives. And some of them are raging bigots, xenophobes, homophobes. They're just ugly people, which is kind of the direct opposite of who I am.
Yeah.
So I've had to just cut the cord with a lot of even my family members. Had one family member, and this is a girl that married into my family, and I have never even met her. And she's married to my first cousin once removed, or as we say in the South, my second cousin.
Right.
I haven't seen him since he was a child. And she married in, saw my name on Facebook. Somehow I accepted her friend request, and I posted something in support of the LGBT community. And, which I frequently do. As a gay man, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And I posted something in support of the community. And she came on and said, I wish you'd quit trying to shove that gay shit down our throats. Oh, no, you didn't, girl. Oh, no, you didn't.
That was very unfortunate. Big mistake on her part.
Honey, I said, well, in case you don't realize it, I am a gay man. And here's another news flash for you. I'm not the only gay and lesbian member of our family. So your husband has some of my gay DNA floating around in his fucking body. So smoke on that, bitch.
Oh, God. Chip, I really wish you'd work on speaking your mind and coming forthrightly out with what you're thinking.
It got better. Thank you for that. I'll work on that.
Okay.
It got better because then her husband kicked in. I don't appreciate you talking to my wife like that. I said, I don't give a flying what you appreciate. I said, let me tell you what. And his father and my mother were brother. His grandfather and my mother were brother and sister. And my mother had 4 sisters. There were 5 girls in the family and the boy.
Right.
I said, let me tell you what. I said, if any of the foster sisters were still alive, they'd hunt you for what she said to me. They would hunt your wife down and beat her ass. And now I'm going to give you 24 hours to read this comment. And then I'm going to do us both a favor and unfriend you on here and hope that I never have any communication with you in my day-to-day life. Adios. Bye-bye. So, I love my friends. I'm this guy, and just for people to know me better, I will be the most loyal, trusting, loving, giving, kind, caring friend you could ever have in your life.
You saved me.
If that sounds egotistical, well,
no, it's true. It's honest.
I did what any honest to God, decent human being would have done under those circumstances, but I did it because I care about you. But I'll tell you this: I will give you and give and give until you fuck me over. And then if you badmouth me or hurt someone that is close to me or that I love, I'm done with you. You were dead to me. And I remember that day in LAX. I remember that day very well. The day that you found out that your sister had died. I remember that day very well. You were literally in shock when I saw you at baggage claim at LAX. I thought you told me that you had found out, and I thought you had taken something. That's how out of it you were.
Yeah.
And I just decided, I encouraged you to go home if you needed to. You were going to pull through the event. And we just, Greta and Rebecca and we just said, we got to prop this woman up. We've got to help her get through this. And along with, what a day, along with Craig Campabasso, our lovely friend in California, along with Craig, and along with his friend that was there, and her name is escaping me at this point in time. But that was the day that we went over and had this lovely luncheon at his house, and went to and Dick Van Patten's wife was there.
Pat, yep,
yeah, from Eight Is Enough,
yep,
and with that, not to take anything away from April, but it basically took your mind for a little while off of what you had just discovered. And you soldiered through that weekend, and I don't know how you did it, but you managed to maneuver your way through that weekend. But once everybody found out, that's how our community somehow reacts, is those who really are decent human beings prop each other up.
Yes, I was I was lifted on the wings of angels. Yours were the two eyes that I saw first, that I recognized. And then I saw Greta and Rebecca walking behind you. And I know I was in shock. I know you said my pupils were dilated. I was in shock.
You were out of your body, Karen. You were gone.
Yeah.
You had so distanced yourself from reality that it wasn't even funny.
Yeah.
And I just knew at that point in time that it was something that we needed to address.
Yeah. And you took care of me that whole day. I mean, it was like 11 o'clock in the morning, and we didn't get to the ship. We were at the Queen Mary. I think we got there about 5 or 6. You made sure I got into my cabin. You dragged me up and made me eat dinner. You said, you have to eat, you have to eat. And we had gone to Mrs. Van Patten's house on our way back from seeing Craig. And I mean, we were all up and down the coast that day. I mean, for hours. And you kept my phone plugged in the console in the SUV so that my phone was my lifeline to my family. You stopped. Greta bought me a box of tissues. I mean, I remember saying to you, when you said you need to go to your family, and I said, I'm with my family. And between you and Greta and Rebecca and Mike and his mom, Pat, certainly John Tenney, who kept an eye on me all weekend long, stayed a couple of feet, no more than that, away from me the whole weekend. And of course, Amy and Adam and Ben, and, I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, we had Aiden was there, and we had the Newkirks there, and it was an amazing event. It was a Strange Escapes event. It was March of 2017. And
has it been that long?
I know it has been that long.
Really been that long?
Yes.
My goodness, doesn't seem possible.
I know.
But other than that tragic turn of events, it was a good weekend.
It was.
It was a very good weekend. I know that we talked about our friend Mike and his mother Pat.
Yeah.
She had come over to the United States, immigrated from England on the Queen Mary as a 2-year-old, I think, or younger. And she had not been back on the ship since then. And what a happy reunion between her and the ship that brought her to the United States. And we were talking about Zappos. I said we'd talk about some people. I'll talk about Mike McCall for a second.
Yes.
I
adore him.
I've had the good fortune. Mike McCall, I met him for the first time at a gay pride parade when we were dressing as angels who were going to block the haters. And we're a part of Angel Action Atlanta. Yeah. And we were going to block the haters from the parade. And I needed help I'd never done it before, so I needed help. And Mike, in his inimitable style, said, "I'm busy. You're just going to have to wait a minute." And I thought, bitch, who are you and who do you hope to be? And from there, it was kind of the beginning of an amazing and beautiful friendship. Mike McCall's a good guy. Mike McCall's a good man. And he's been on a lot of excursions with us in the past, and he's coming back to, just so you know, I don't know if you knew this or not, he's coming back to Michigan.
I know.
To stir his debauchery.
I know.
And we're driving up from Detroit, and
we're driving too. We're all driving. Fuck that little, puddle splasher plane. No, I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing it again.
Not again with all the cancellations that there've been lately.
No.
Have you rented your vehicle yet?
No. I've got two friends that have a big ass SUV that are picking us up. Yep.
Perfect. Because the SUV that I looked at for the first time was $900, or the minivan, $900.
Yep.
Rental car prices are through the roof. Anyway, Mike McCall is a good guy. So he says, all you ever use me for is being a pack mule.
Nice.
So I call him that now. And he always drives. We always put him down as the additional driver, and he will drive us. And I always remember to bring a pillow so that I can go to sleep in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
Because the way he drives, I would rather die in my sleep.
Oh, good.
And we get there. I will wake up, and when you got Waze on your phone, it will tell you how fast your car is moving.
Yeah.
I'll look at it, and he's going 91, 92 miles an hour. And I'm like, bitch, you need to slow down some. And he'll get someplace. I'm the one that's doing the driving. You just sit over there and shut up. So we get there, and I'm going like, Jesus, let me get out and kiss the ground. And he'll look at me with those evil blue eyes and go, well, nobody died, did they?
Not this time.
Nobody died, did they?
Did they? Yeah.
Did they?
That sounds just like him. Absolutely just like him.
But he's so lovable in his own
inimitable way.
I was going to say ornery way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think part of the problem is he reminds me a considerable amount of myself.
That
which
could be that there's some slight.
I mean, and he'll sit at my table sometimes if I go pee, and people will come up and think he's me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, just sign a picture and just let him walk.
Yeah.
Let him think they met me, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And his mother's a lovely lady.
She is so lovely.
Pat's a good lady.
Mike and Pat come to my mother's house over the years, have come, pretty frequently.
Yes.
And I mean, they only live about not even an hour southeast. So it's, he's like, oh God, that's no big deal at all. He's like, I drive, constantly. This is no big deal. And so we've had big meals together, and we've celebrated holidays together. And, it's been wonderful. And then COVID just took it, right to an end. Pat and Mom.
COVID.
I know. Oh my God, I'm so pissed. And, it's just not been safe. Mike is a businessman. He's out in the public a lot. He's doing a lot of different things. And he knows it wasn't safe to come around my mother. I certainly wouldn't want anything to happen to his mother, who I adore. So we have not been able to get together for the last 2.5 years. And it feels like an eternity. I mean, he and Christine are thick as thieves. She said to tell you, when she found out you were going to be on the show tonight, she's like, oh, I haven't seen him in 2 years.
She isn't coming to Michigan.
She can't leave Mom, honey. She can't.
No, I understand.
What
day are you getting into Michigan? What day are you arriving?
Whenever you say. I haven't even. I don't know, but I've got to talk to Brad tomorrow, because we got to get flights booked, because I don't know if I'm flying out of Orlando or if I'm driving to Atlanta, leaving Peanut with Mom and Christine, and then flying from Atlanta to Detroit and then driving up. But it's like, what, 6 hours? It's a 6-hour drive up to the UK.
If you stop or pee or get a drink or anything, it's 6.
Yeah.
No matter what. People are saying, we make it in 4.5. And it's like, yeah. You,
At
you're.
warp factor 6, no,
I don't
I'm
know how the
sorry.
heck they're doing it. I don't know how they're doing it.
No.
I don't know how they're doing it. None whatsoever. They're idiots. They're shooting off fireworks in my neighborhood, and Abigail just crawled up my leg. She's like, "Oh my god!"
I know. I can tell you already what's going to happen with this one. Where'd she go? Sunday night. Where are you?
I've got
Oh,
to
there
medicate.
you are. There's my baby. There's my baby.
I've got to medicate this one.
What's wrong?
Oh, the fireworks. She'll just go back.
Oh, the fireworks. Yeah,
She'll have such severe anxiety. She's shaking like a leaf.
I know. Her too. Just thunder and lightning.
Oh, yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God, it's terrible. And it was fine.
Oh,
She was fine the first year or so that I had her. Uh, I'm in Florida. There's thunder and lightning storms so with
constantly,
such
constantly.
frequency that you better get used to it. And she was fine. I could um, count on her keeping it together during a storm until last summer when this property got struck by lightning
Oh no.
and it hit there's a metal like a partial metal fence between our backyard and our neighbors, and the properties are quite generous. There's a lot of room to roam, and I think it didn't hit the barn or the shed. It didn't hit the house. So the only thing that I can think of is that it hit the metal fence, and it sounded like a bomb going off in
Oh yeah.
this house. And I mean, it literally shook my
Shook
sternum.
everything. Yeah, yeah.
And she screamed. I didn't know a dog could scream, but she did. And she ran and she hid and didn't come out from under my bed for an hour. I couldn't coax her out no matter what I wanted to do to comfort her. She didn't want to hear it. She was terrified.
Oh.
And it's been an issue ever since. And fireworks, anything loud, anything sudden or loud. And Chip, I've been really, really struggling. When I've been really struggling about Ukraine. I met a woman a couple of weeks ago who was on the last transport out of the airport in Afghanistan before the Taliban took over. And she told me about the bullets flying over her head and the bombs bursting outside the compound around it. And I remember sitting on the sofa in my parlor watching that last plane take off and knowing how many got left behind. And I have had the privilege to meet someone who escaped Afghanistan on that last flight that I watched take off and cried and cried and cried. And when I think of the trauma that my little dog feels when there's, a bottle rocket that goes off, and then I think of the animals that I've seen wandering the streets of Ukraine, starving to death, and the trauma that they've all been through, and the people and what they've been through, it makes me want to leave the planet. It makes me feel hopeless and helpless and in the deepest despair that I have ever felt for this planet. And my show is called A World Awakening, and I always try to engage my guests in some conversation that causes people to think and causes people to expand their consciousness in terms of the way that they relate to this world, and hopefully inspires them to action of some kind. What Joe keeps hearing: do something, do something, do something. And it is an urgency, it is an imperative urgency that we do something, even if what we do is just to try to lift each other up out of the morass of despair that any thinking, feeling human being is experiencing right now. And this is a difficult time to be alive. The old ancient Chinese curse, May you live in interesting times. Well, I don't know what you would call this if not that, and it's a curse for a reason. And when I think of my little dog, trembling and shaking, my dog that never misses a meal, my dog that has everything that she could possibly ever want, she is the Princess Peanut Buttercup. The 3 words that she hears every day is "as you wish." That is her life. She lives in the lap of luxury. She wants for nothing. And yet, a cherry bomb will send her into trauma because she has PTSD from one experience that shook her literally to the core, that she remembers. And as I see, so that's microcosm, okay? Peanut Buttercup is the microcosm. The macrocosm is too much to take in. It's just too much to take in. And I don't know about you, honey, but there have been times in the last couple of years I've been grateful to have to stay home.
Yes.
I've been grateful not to have to. I've got a great excuse for anybody that wants to plan anything, do anything. And I know you went through what I went through. Within the course of 2 weeks in March of 2020, I lost my income for the year. It was gone. Every single event that I was scheduled for that year, everything that Greta had slaved to put together for me over the course of the entire year was canceled, not postponed, not coming back, canceled, gone the whole year. And as much as it was painful to see my income just, dissipate into the ether, I knew I would be okay. You knew you would be okay. And we got to stay home. And you got to stay with Kenny. I got to stay with Dad for the most part. I did go see my mother several times, very carefully, made sure everything was fine. Didn't go see her until tests were available. Didn't. But I needed...
You needed time.
I needed some time to process all of this, to process this. I don't know what to make of this, but the world has been turned inside out and upside down.
We're going to get through this in our own individual ways, and hopefully collectively we can help each other through this. And that's the only thing that we can do, is that we've just got to say that put one foot in front of the other. Some days are harder than others, and we don't want to ignore what's going on, but some things we just can't control. And sometimes we've just got to step back from it and say, there's nothing I can do. And when I do that, I pray. Yeah. And some people say thoughts and prayers don't mean anything. I'm sorry, but
oh no, that's not true.
I think that they are, in a lot of instances, they're good, but they shouldn't be the only thing. There should be action that takes place along with thoughts and prayers.
That's right.
I've loved spending this time with you, but I've got a dog that's having a hissy fit, and she's all over me. Mm-hmm. So I looked at my clock here, and I promised you I would stay with you for an hour.
You did.
And I'm sorry to bail on you, but I've got a dog that's kind of needy at this point in time.
I understand.
And let me just say, I've loved spending this time with you. I'm looking forward to seeing you in a little less than 2 months. We'll hang and have a good time and socialize, and it'll be great. Reunions are always great.
It will. And you know what, Chip? We'll never take each other for granted again. We never will, because tomorrow is never promised. There are no guarantees. And to see you looking so well, so healthy, so beautiful. I mean,
you too. Even though
you radiate from within, honey. You do.
I think it's probably, I'm a quart low on bullshit tonight, but I know.
It's not the Coke. It's not the coffee.
It's
your light. It's not the coffee.
It's not the coffee.
It's your light. And your
too.
Words resonate, your light radiates. You are a bright, shining star in the firmament, and I love you with all my heart.
And keep those freaking ETs away from me, Perrin, or I will make you
I'll
suffer when I
talk
see
to
you.
them. I'll have a
You
coffee talk
to
with
them.
them.
I'll
Okay.
talk to them. I love you. I love you. Thank you, everybody, for watching tonight. Andrea Perrin is the bomb. We're all sending you positive energy, Perrin, that you're completely over this COVID bullshit really soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll see you soon. I love you.
I love you. I love
Bye,
you.
darling, darling, darling.
Good night, sweetheart.
Good night.
Okay, so you know what? When I told you I was giving you chip coffee tonight, I was giving you a big dose of chip coffee tonight. And he is so lovely and wonderful. Bill, I know you've enjoyed every minute of it. He's a very, very special man, a truly gifted soul. And it is truly my privilege to call him my dear friend. So it was delightful for him to, after doing 2 hours of a very intense reading, prior to coming on here, that he even had that kind of energy left is absolutely amazing. But I had a feeling that we wouldn't have him for the full 2 hours. And so I want him to go rest. And what I would like to do is open the floor to questions for you and for me. Do you want to ride this through the end of the show with me and we'll just do questions?
Why not? But I will say, let me just bring my mic up because I always have it low when I'm off the air. That was one of my favorite. And, I produce a lot of shows on this network and I am the program director, but this was unbelievable. I had such a great time in that hour or so that he was on. And I think I can speak for everyone that's in the chat.
Yeah.
They truly enjoyed it immensely. There was a lot of great comments in there. A lot of great comments. I was, it was great. He is awesome. Both of you are awesome.
Well, we are very, very much alike. We have zero tolerance for willful ignorance, for bullshit. We have zero tolerance for, we have zero tolerance for exactly the same things. We are both loving and giving in the extreme. And that comes naturally to both of us. And we share a lot of the same traits and qualities, I think. Mm-hmm. He's a little bit more blunt, than I am. I have a tendency to speak more lyrically, as he says, poetically.
What?
And he just blurts it right out, but it's really the same. It really is the same. And there's nothing I wouldn't do for the man. I mean, literally nothing I wouldn't do for him. And the same, I mean, we've talked about this. When COVID first hit and we first talked about this, he said, I don't know what your situation is. He said, but if you ever need a place to be, a place to live, I don't know, how you're, what your situation is. He's like, you can come and move in with me. I said, you know what? Same here. You can come in and move in with me if need be. If things go that far south, you've always got a home with me, always, and bring all your animals, and how many people in your lifetime will that you can say that to and mean it, and it goes both ways?
Yep. It's rare, actually.
Yep.
I will say this. I would love to hang out with both of you. I can't imagine how these conversations could go on for hours and hours. We've
been to the farm together because we did an episode of Kindred Spirits with Amy Bruni and Adam Berry, his show that he does with them. And he didn't know we were coming. He did not. I don't know how Amy and Adam kept it from him. He wasn't exactly sure where he was when they arrived at the farm.
It's true.
Foxhole friends. For foxhole friends. That's cool.
It's the truth,
It is. Foxhole friends. You betcha. I gotcha. And when we pulled up, my father was driving. I was in the front seat, and my sisters, Nancy, Christine, and Cindy, were in the back seat.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got out of the car, Chip walked over to me. He was blown away. And he said, I saw 5 of you get out of the car. And Cindy just turned and looked at him, and she said, of course, I asked April to come with us. And he saw April get out of that car with us. You know, so that she could be a part of something that she so much wanted to be a part of in spirit. If that was the only way to return to that farmhouse in spirit with her family. It was a remarkable event. It truly was. I don't know if you've ever seen that episode of Kindred Spirits. It's searchable. It was from a couple of years ago, 2019, in fact, before COVID hit. And it really was a blessing being there with him. And he clarified some things for me too. Things that all these years, decades later, I was very curious about. And having Chip there made all the difference. And I need to introduce him. And in fact, I will introduce him to Jacqueline Nunez, the new owner of the farm. Because wouldn't it be so great, Bill? If
I am not saying nothing. Because I am dying to go to the farmhouse and meet.
I know. Well, we can make all of this happen. You know, where there's a will, there's a way. That's not just a cliche. It's not just a bumper sticker. If you want something bad enough, fucking do it. Just make it happen.
Speaking of Jacqueline, how is she settling in? Because I know you're close with her. And has anything interesting happened since she's been residing there?
Well, she does not live there.
Okay.
She is there regularly, but she does not live there. She has a home in Boston, and so she commutes back and forth. It's about an hour between the farm and Boston. So she knows, she's got the route down solid. It's pretty quick. And she brings her dog Dottie down, and if she's going to spend a couple of days, she brings the cats, and so everybody is adjusting. What I will tell you is this: the whole vibe of the farmhouse has changed. I can't explain it. It's like warm, mushy butter that got left out and the air conditioning got turned off. It's like you don't even, you know what texture and consistency I'm talking about? It's not liquefied yet, but it's just about on that. That's how the farm feels to me. And I've done, 1, 2, 3 events in the last few months up there, different shoots and things that I've been working on. And the last one, I kind of brought her into that process so that she could see what we were doing. And we had a film crew in from London. They were wonderful. And so she incorporates me into events and, the things that are going on there, some of which were booked prior to her assuming ownership. Jeff wants to come with us, Bill.
Definitely.
Jeff, my darling, we can absolutely make that happen. We can. I'm gonna have to get my broomstick out of the shop because
I was gonna say, Jeff, tremendous work with Annie that you both are doing. I cannot tell you the feedback I'm getting for Soul School Sojourn. On Monday, 6 Eastern on KJRADB. I will say this week we are off for the 4th of July holiday, though. So enjoy your holiday, Jeff, your family, all of you. Have a great holiday weekend, a safe one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
and, Jeff has been able to step up. When I brought Jeff into that process, and it was something that I had wanted to do for probably, virtually from when we first connected. I was just so impressed with his intellect, his sensibility, his sensitivity, his gifts. It's, oh God, he is just a truly special man. And I adore him. I adore his whole family. And when we were together at the UFO Contact in Houghton Lake last September, what I already knew was a profoundly important bond which had occurred between us just solidified into a permanent state of being. And he is my perfect partner for the show. No, I had this notion, this idea that I kicked around between. I remember the conversation exactly. And I didn't know you yet. I had not been invited to join the KGRA family. I didn't know anything about that's how much my life has changed since last year. And you've been such a huge part of that, Bill. And I'm so deeply grateful for your friendship and your support. But you knew instantly the first time that I brought Jeff onto the show
as a guest
that he was something special.
Yes.
And for me to be in a position now with not only a World Awakening, but with Soul School, where I can just have Jeff run with it. If I'm, flying, I'm coming back from an event, I'm under the weather, whatever. One text to Jeff and, can you handle the show tonight? Boom, done. I don't even have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it. And I know whatever goes out into the world, I will be incredibly proud of to have my name attached to. And the same is true for this show. And, beginning it with Tony Rathman, talk about starting on a pristine foundation with Tony, and then moving from what we were doing together and moving to KGRA. And I know Tony will be back. There's no question in my mind. Tony will be back when the time is right and he's in a position to, rejoin this effort. But
he's working long hours. That he's really working
ridiculous hours, ridiculous. And but in the interim, what I have discovered is the simpatico between you and me. And now I have my perfect choice to fill in for me on a World Awakening, which is my friend Erin Bush.
She's tremendous.
She's tremendous. She is incredibly well-spoken, real easy on the eyes for, the guys. Well, some of the girls too. And, I hope her husband doesn't get pissed off at me for saying that, but she is drop dead gorgeous. And oh God, her parents are probably.
But you know what, Annie? It's just a great, I would say, just a great family environment because it's the Rathmans, the whole entity voices. It's also Ken DaCosta, George Lopez, Cody and Satori. I mean, it just goes on and on. And I gotta say, I am honored to be a part of this. Sometimes I have people over my home, like Travis Walton. I'm more of the UFO guy, that.
Mm-hmm.
But
I know him.
Yeah, I know you do. It's like sometimes sitting in this position, in this chair, producing and doing what I do, I can't help but be like a fanboy and get excited to be a part of all this. I can't. I'm speechless. There's no words for it. It's just such an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to be a part of this. But like I said, I am really looking for the day, hopefully in a few months, to come and meet you and Roger, everybody, and hang out. And Cody, Satori, Ken, the whole crew. Jeff will probably come up. Maybe Chip Coffey will show up. Who knows?
Who knows?
I am really looking forward to that day. But I want to ask you, what's going on? What's really going on with Ireland? You're going in a week, right?
No, Scotland.
Scotland, I meant.
Yeah, yeah. I just got in my 246 pack, 6 double pack of COVID tests to make sure that I'm, safe and sound and not, I mean, I'm pretty much through it now. I've still got a little residual cough, but for the most part, the headaches are gone, and I'm doing much better. But I just want to make sure I've got my tests with me to make sure that I don't pass anything to anybody. That would be, I mean, it's been mortifying and devastating enough to have given this to my mother, the woman who's, who I worship on this planet. It's also good to know that she was strong enough to get through it.
My mom too.
It is, it's a really scary thing, because I've told you before, I don't know how to be me without her. She just can't go anywhere. I've still got stuff to accomplish that I want her to brag on me about. She can't go anywhere. This is all about me, God damn it. I really need, I just need her to just, stay around ad infinitum and watch me do what I do and say, you're a good girl, Annie. You're my best girl. You're my number one girl. I mean, and then I can just live my life happily ever after as long as my mother is with me. So I can't even imagine not having her. And I don't want to be one of those people that pre-mourns the loss of a loved one. I want to enjoy her and spend time with her and let her kick my ass at Scrabble and, just do things together, plant plants and read books that we share and watch a good movie together with the volume turned up so high that I'm deaf when it's over. I mean, these are the things that I live for right now is to be with her as much as I can, to go to Scotland and get my mother a tartan from Clan Buchanan and take it to her and present it to her for her birthday. Awesome. She'll be 83 in August, God willing. Dad will be 87. Wow. Yeah, I know how grateful I should be, how lucky I am to still have my parents at my age. I'm very grateful. And I want to go over there and I'll be like, oh, mom would love that. Oh, mom would love this. Oh, my mom. Oh, here's my card. I mean, even if I have to have the shit shipped back over to the United States, I'll do that. But just to bring her happiness and peace and joy and comfort. And, she can't go to Scotland. That's her tribal home. She was from Clan Buchanan,
right?
And she can't do it now, but I can do it for her and take videos and record the trip, in photographs and video, and come back and, go see her and share all of it with her.
Are there any folks that she still has acquaintances with there? Is anyone there that you could actually meet and film them as well and say greetings?
No. Although, I've got a friend in England. She's got roots in Scotland, Ireland, and England. She also has roots way back in Scandinavia. In fact, my mother is one of, it's either 4 or 6. I'll have to double check. But either one of 4 or 6 living human beings on this planet right now that have a direct mitochondrial link to a Viking warrior queen that was buried in I think around 1200 something. Her grave was exhumed. They buried her with all of her weapons, her horses, her jewelry, her artifacts, her artwork. I mean, this woman was revered in her time. And my mother has a mitochondrial DNA link directly to this Viking warrior queen, which is kind of freaking amazing. And I'm really, really glad that I bought her the DNA kit that I got her for Christmas a few years ago, because she was curious. But in the 1500s, Jonathan Riles, and I can't remember his wife Charlotte's last name, but they got married in the 1500s. And in England, and he and she and 5 of their 6 children are buried at St. Peter's Cathedral in Sheffield, England. And my friend Steve Evell went and found their grave sites for me when my mother went back through the genealogy and was tracing her ancestry. And the 6th member of that family, the 6th child, was the only one that that came to the colonies. And he came to the colony of Georgia and is part of her family tree.
Wow.
I know. History is so fascinating, isn't it? It's fascinating.
I can tell you that my mom's ancestors, one that we tracked, believe it or not, because the Spaniards kept excellent records.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
One of my ancestors was on the fleet with Christopher Columbus.
Wow. Oh, that's them some bragging rights, huh?
It was a science officer. It was some kind of label like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was
probably the one minding the compass, huh?
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting when you go back in time. But as when you mentioned about your mom, today, my mom went in the swimming pool for the first time in like years, and it was good just to have some quality time, just mom and I having fun, in the pool, and because you cherish those moments while you have it. And I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah. We're blessed to still have our parents with us, and we got to appreciate that, because there's a lot of people out there, not so fortunate like that,
Yes. And especially in the last couple of years, people losing their loved ones and not even being able to say goodbye, not being able to hold their hands.
Going to the hospital.
Yep. It's it has been, and I really needed to talk to Chip about that, a little bit too, because he and I are very like-minded on virtually every subject except the galactic family, which obviously he's a little terrified of, for no good reason at all. No good reason at all. That said, this is, I was sitting with my father this morning on the terrace and just kind of shaking my head. And he's like, honey, what is it? Are you okay? Are you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fucking fine, Dad. I'm just so fucking pissed off. I'm so pissed off. And he's like, well, what about what? And I was like, about everything, about every ruling that just came out of the Supreme Court in the last week. How about we can start right there? I said, here's the thing. They're the ones that are doing the service. They're the ones that are waking up and shaking up America with their radical extremist, religiously rooted views of an eclectic secular society, with seemingly no comprehension about 330 million individuals that don't necessarily think exactly the way that they do. This is a real wake-up call for this country. I mean, when the president goes over to Europe to meet with NATO and with the EU, and the first thing that every other world leader asks them is, what the hell is going on in America? I mean, these are like really huge issues. And my dad just looked at me and he said, honey, they're doing you a favor. They're doing you a favor because, what they have done now is they've exposed themselves for what they are and their intentions. The counterintuitive notion on the one hand that they're pro-life but want to put a gun in, open carry in every pocket in the United States. And that's supposed to be pro-life. That's pro-gun.
I would say this though.
And then on the other hand, to see Roe v. Wade just wiped off the books after 50 years and 2 generations have come to accept that as our constitutional right to self-determination and being able to make our own healthcare decisions without the goddamn government peeking through our bedroom windows, then there's a lot to deal with and a lot.
I would say this just because I don't want to get drawn into the political thing, but I will say this. I think that we all just have to find the commonalities that we have with each other. Obviously, everybody's got their opinions, on both sides. You know how that goes. The country's pretty much divided. But I think that the people that are in Congress, whatever political level, they've got to find a way to compromise.
It's not going to happen.
But I'm just saying, this is the way it's got to be, in my opinion. Got to bring people together. Find a way to bring people together and find some commonality. You're not going to win on everything. You're not going to lose on everything. Not everybody's going to be happy, but find a way, because this country needs to be brought back together. No matter what side you're on, we have to find a way to bring people together. And like I said, when people are here in my home, I try to stay away from that topic, because it's always going to be it's going to start a fire. But I think that there's so much that we can all enjoy with each other, with love and compassion and caring. We have so much more in common. You know what I mean? And like you said, there are certain issues that on a federal level, but on the state level, there's still things going on. So it's a separation from the Fed and state level without getting too drawn out into the political stuff. But you know what I mean? There's still states that are going to do things their way. And,
I'm pissed off.
I know you are.
Massively pissed off. Utterly, totally, completely aggravated to the extreme.
But
and I don't see it getting any better. I really don't. I think this is our ultimate wake-up call. I think that the biggest enemy in this country is complacency, apathy, willful ignorance. I really do think that is the crux of the matter. And I don't see any path out of it. I don't. And so ultimately, it's going to come down to a kind of a low level. So, to me, it's the same thing as
Andy, but I don't mean to cut you, but think of it this way. If we all come along, forget about just in our country, but in the world, think about if you were a species looking at Earth from the outside, would you in your right minds want to interfere with a species that's always fighting amongst each other, always at war? Someone always wants to be in control and in power, manipulation. And we're going to interfere with this species as violent as they are in generally speaking, because war is never ending. There's always violence. It just doesn't stop. So my concern is looking forward, like people talk about disclosure occurring. We're in such chaos right now. There is such mistrust across the board. So how could disclosure happen? Now, a lot of people are concerned, Annie, that because I've been hearing this for the last few years. Like I said, I'm looking more at the ufology part of this. They're labeling them as demons, evil, malevolent. It's just like nature. There's a balance. You're always going to have a balance, good and bad. It's just the natural. It's the law. It's going to be that way. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's good things out there, bad things out there. But I
don't think that. I think that they've evolved to the point where, well, they don't want to interfere because, obviously we've covered this before. They can't interfere because then we don't learn our lessons. And, the tests, these are the tests that come before the lessons. I am absolutely convinced of that. And it's a whole series. I mean, everybody's looking at each other going, what next? What next? Are you kidding me? Oh, we're going to gut the EPA today. What next? Oh, we're going to unleash more, weapons in a society that already has 100 million more weapons than people in it already. What next? And that's where we are. I think that that's where we are right now. That's the stage that we're at, where we have got, the deregulation of all pollutants. Just go ahead, pour it out, out into the atmosphere. It not only fouls our air and our water, but it damages the whole world. But whatever, go make some money and stuff it in your pockets. That's the mindset that we have to defeat. That's what it is. It is that duality that we have talked about over and over again. One mindset is very simple. We are all in this together. We are one big family. We are all in this together. That's one mindset. That is my mindset. It has been lifelong. There is another opposing force to that mindset. And that is all for me. The rest of you SOBs are on your own. And that's what this is. That's what this is that's going on. And, selfishness and greed and ignorance and, just convincing themselves that their way is the only way, that it is the way of progress, that it is the way of the future, when ultimately what it's doing is shredding our society and damaging the planet and everyone that is, sharing this earth. It is a frightening time for me. I feel absolutely certain that it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And I think that we have to confront the notion that it is going to get worse before it gets better, and to steel ourselves, to, prepare ourselves, because forewarned is forearmed. And I really do think that that's where we are right now. And I can be as pissed off as I want to be. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how Chip feels or how I feel or any of my other friends who, basically think the same way that I do. We can only do so much individually. This is about, tapping into the unified field of consciousness. And this is also about a crisis of conscience. So maybe the gas and oil industry just got completely, utterly deregulated, and that there's nothing that we can do to rein in their emissions, their pollutants, and whatever else that they do to harm the planet. Maybe that's the case. But what if the people that run these companies start thinking in terms of, wow, we've got the freedom to destroy as much as we could possibly want to destroy in the name of the almighty dollar. But should we? And that's what I'm talking about in terms of a crisis of conscience. How much money is enough? How much money is enough? This is making up for losses during COVID. This is the destabilization of the energy markets worldwide because of Ukraine and Russia. But, I can't help it. I am fiercely defensive when I hear somebody say, well, Ukraine's going to have to capitulate. Ukraine's going to have to give up something and negotiate. Why? Why? They didn't do anything. All they did was exist in the boundaries of their country that have been there in cities that are 1,000 years old. All they did was exist. They were not the aggressors. Why do they have to give up anything of their land, their tradition, their history?
Because Putin is well aware, as I'm sure a lot of the people that are viewing, it is part of the old Soviet Empire, one. Number two, the Ukraine is one of the richest countries in oil, minerals, precious metals, iron, lithium. It goes on and on. So it's also about the money
Yeah, it's also about the money. And you know what I say to Zelensky? Tell him to pack his shit and get the fuck out. Get out. You don't belong here. We already had this. This was all worked out. Get out. And oh, by the way, get the hell out of Crimean Peninsula too. Get out. They just took Snake Island back yesterday. They can do this with the world helping them. And what an idiot who was so threatened by the notion of NATO expanding, and his actions have what has it created? The expansion of NATO. It's completely counterintuitive. I feel like the whole world has lost its mind, and we've talked about this, but I really do believe that at some point we have to, as a world community, stand up to the despots, the dictators, and the autocrats and say, get out. We're taking over. You have not served us well. You have only served yourself. And that is not just Vladimir Putin. It's not just Xi Jinping. It's not just Kim Jong-un. There are 63 dictators that are oppressing their own people on this planet right this minute. And what I see coming is worldwide revolution, so that no single man any longer gets to call the shots about how the whole rest of the world is going to be held hostage by their whim. And that's what needs to change. That will be the culmination of the paradigm shift. And I might not live to see it. But I'll tell you what, while I'm here, I will call it out. I will call it out for what it is.
I will say this, though, on the flip side, with all the money that we spend, we need to focus also on what's going on right in our country and helping the American people deal with inflation, the rising costs of living. I mean, it is not the prices of food, the prices of gas. I'm really, really concerned about this winter because I live in a cold area. If this oil, because heating oil is more expensive than gas. So if gas is at 5, heating oil is going to be close to more like 6.
Yeah.
250-gallon tank lasts 6 weeks here. Do the math, I'm going to be paying thousands of dollars per month to heat my house. That's a concern. We've got to do something to bring this price down because it's going to hurt a lot of people. A lot of people may go without heat, hot water, whatever, because they simply can't afford it, Annie. And
we do have government subsidy programs, but you know what? That's just us paying for everybody else's heat and hot water. That's just coming right out of our tax money, while the producers, the purveyors, are laughing their asses off all the way to the bank. Have you seen the price? Have you seen the price of oil on the open market? Do you know what we should be paying for gasoline right now? About $2.85 a gallon, based on the cost to us of a barrel of oil. And here's the other thing. We're producing more oil and generating more gas out of this country now than we ever have in the past. And these companies don't release it into our society, into our pipelines, without making a big, huge profit. And they sell it to the highest bidder, which also jacks the price up. So, George W. Bush was no more responsible for $5 a gallon gasoline during, the end of his administration than Joe Biden is responsible for $5 a gallon gasoline in his administration, because they're not the ones that set the prices, and they cannot manipulate the market. They can't do it. So, let's place blame where blame belongs. There are ways to mitigate the costs to the American people that these American companies that have gotten rich off the backs of Americans could do to help America right now, except their priorities are screwed to the wall.
It's always money. You know that. Everything's
It's always money. It's always, that's the common denominator.
It's politically blind because it's always about money. You know what I mean? It's always about money.
Yeah.
And sadly, the people, the ordinary folks suffer from it. But like, I will say this before we close, because we got like 8 minutes left. Okay. My way of being is, my definition of spirituality is being at peace with myself and my surroundings. I have a great relationship with my neighbors. I have a great relationship with my community. I'm involved. Doing this, I feel, is a positive thing. As long as and being with people like you doing this show and all the other hosts and just being a part of this, I feel I'm providing a service. I'm helping put the information out there and being a productive participant in society. I focus my energy on the positive, because Annie, if you let that negative stuff that's going on eat you up, it's going to take control of you. You know what I mean?
I am positively negative about the state of the world right now.
Yes.
And I am positive that I will continue to work
I know you will.
To create a higher
consciousness, awareness.
Yes.
Like the show.
Yes.
A world awakening.
But we have to wake up first. We have to wake up to the reality that we face. This is a world awakening to our old reality, seen in a whole new light based on the circumstances that we have inadvertently and sometimes deliberately created in our own world. And we have to take responsibility for that. And we have to affect positive change.
I agree. See, but people like you, Chip, whoever it is, I think the game changer, because it's going to be life altering, it's going to be historical for humankind. When this all comes to a head, I mean, you know what you've been involved with, whether it's disclosure or, I think when something like this happens, that's going to be the moment that changes everything. It's going to affect a global level. I think all the focus of whatever it is, whatever's going on, any distractions, anything that's going on, all this crazy insanity that's going on around us, I think that something big is coming that's going to change the
egg is cracking open. There is so much growth, expansion, and conflict within our egg, our 3D 5-sensory realm, that we're cracking it from the inside out. You know my story, the chicken and the egg. They can't crack the egg for us. We won't survive. We have to puncture and peck our way out of our own limited understanding of our species, our race, our planet, and our place in the universe. All of that. And it's all about higher vibration. It is all about the resonance of sound and light and the elemental and essential part of what makes us human beings. And as that realization of oneness, of us all being in this together, of all of us in the same boat, when that finally clicks, when it finally does, when that mindset outnumbers and overpowers hatred with love, and that's inevitable, because why? Because love conquers fear, good conquers evil, or none of us would be here anymore, because evil is afoot in the land, and yet it does not win. Love always defeats hatred and fear. Always, eventually and inevitably, always it does. I just want to be alive to see it.
I feel the same way. And I'll tell you, I think, just think about, because we got like 4 minutes left, but think about this. Everything that's going on or led to this point in history, let's just go way back, just to this point where we are right now. it seems like if anything is going to happen, it's going to happen soon. That's going to change everything.
Yeah,
Something
it needs to. Something
big is coming that's going to change everything all at once globally, where everybody's going to say, whoa.
Yeah.
And we're all going to have to come together as a human society, not individual countries. It's going to, I think,
or even individual people,
right.
all
But I
come
think
together.
I think it's Annie. I really feel that's coming. Something is coming.
Yes,
I don't know what it is, and I hope it's not a negative thing.
It's not.
I
It's
hope
actually a very powerful, very loving thing. And my opinion is that disclosure has already occurred. That we are the point of disclosure. I don't need any government anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world, I should say, to disclose anything. They're all the lying liars who lie. They always have been. The UK has been more forthcoming than any clump of countries anywhere in the world in terms of what they've already released in terms of their own research and what they have found. However,
one thing. Go ahead.
It doesn't matter. Disclosure has already occurred. It is now awareness on a global level that will change everything. And it's coming. It's tick-tock time.
I agree. And I'll close this out with one last thing. I bet you when you go to Scotland, that's going to create a great positive experience for you. All this is going to just drain and flush out, and you're going to be like, this is exactly what I needed to be in this beautiful country of Scotland and doing things for mom, and it's just going to make you feel so good.
I hope so.
I know so. I know. And you're going to tell me I'm right when you come back home.
Well, Erin's going to be covering for me in my absence. Jeff will be, of course, picking up Soul School. So, everybody forgive me. I will be back. I think I'll be, well, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm on next week or not. I have to go look at the calendar. But anyway, I will. I love you all. And, thank you for letting me rant and rave. I'm so far left. I'm right about everything. But, that there's that. And, I love you all. Let's get through this together. Let's just get through this together and love each other powerfully. And each of us strive to be the light that we seek always. And I love you very much, Bill. Thank you for making this show possible for me.
Happy 4th to everyone. Be safe.
Yeah. Land of the free, home of the what? Really? Really? Yeah, free if you're a white male. Yeah, you're free as hell. The rest of us are screwed. All right, love you.
Have a great night, everybody.